Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their community. Host of the show and an insurance agent specializing in commercial insurance. I'll bring my guest in just a moment, just waiting for him to join. I first want to thank all of our show sponsors, one of them being HV Gold Rewards. HV Gold Rewards is one of the largest networking groups on Facebook in the Hudson Valley. Sometimes I struggle with that one, but you could visit hvgoldrewards.com and get your rewards card where you can start saving by shopping locally. Our other show sponsor, who is also a guest on the show today, is the Mindful Living Coaching Program, where this program helps you gain clarity, and you can learn more about it by messaging Matt Alfonso on Instagram, and he's coming on now. So I'm going to bring him in so you can learn more about the program right away. Hang on. And here he is. Hey, Sylvia. Hey, everyone. All right. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Michael. How you doing?
Doing good, thanks. All right, let me just adjust this because now it's just like my face is just in a square.
Yeah,
Right.
Live always zooms it in, right?
Yeah. All right. Looking good here. Oh, man, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's always good to be with you. Whenever you invite me on here, I'm always excited to just have a discussion with you and just get a chance to chat.
And it's interesting to see you here because you and I have been doing the Mindful Living Coaching Program together. So we've been seeing each other on Zoom a lot more than normal.
Yeah, we have. We've been doing it every Thursday. So we actually just finished our 8th week of it. But between, we do Toastmasters on Wednesday and then our coaching calls on Thursday. So this is a different way for us to connect as well.
Cool. I'm having a tough time hearing you with these on, and I don't know why I had this problem last time. I guess I couldn't work through those, but I'm not going to struggle with that any further. I want to jump into what the Mindful Living Coaching Program is, why you started it, and then, of course, the launch of your website. So first, let me give you a proper introduction. This is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. I'm here with Matt Alfonso, the founder of the Mindful Living Coaching Program. In this program, Matt helps you gain clarity, put things in perspective, and something that I really love about the program, and we're going to talk about this, is he holds you accountable for some of the goals that you have. And it's not in a way that is I don't know, negative. It's more of an encouraging way of helping you accomplish your goals. So Matt, why don't we jump into first what motivated you to start this on your own? Because you're a basketball coach, you have other things going on in your life, but you decided to start this program, and I'd love to hear your journey with that and why you decided to do it.
I started the mindfulness coaching program in this spring, and it was really, I wanted to do one-on-one coaching with mindfulness and really wanted to make it more comprehensive and have more of an outline for how I wanted to take people to where they are currently, and then to have them really be able to increase their sense of inner peace and calm, help them become more present, help them really also change how they view themselves in terms of self-love. And I knew I could do it through just one-on-one coaching if it was more, just what they needed on that day. But I felt like it would be better to have more of a structured program where I can really design the program and design each week to have it build on the following week and really lead them on that path. And I spent really a few months designing the program, kind of each week, week by week, breaking it out. We have different modules, which are different audio and video and documents that help support the learning as well. But mindfulness it's been a passion of mine really the past 5 years, and the past 12 to 18 months, I knew that I wanted to share that with others. And this program really allows me to do that, allows me to do it and in a kind of a clear way where I know I can help get the people results.
Right. And I want to get further into the program with you, but first let's talk about the launch of your website, because I'd love for people who are just tuning in right now to know how to find you. Of course, they could find you on Instagram at MattAlfonso1. That's the number 1 there. That's at MattAlfonso1. But you just launched your website, and And in this COVID environment, it's kind of like a ribbon cutting. It's like there should have been a ceremony or something going on and a big party. But right now you're having a grand opening to your website. Share with us the website name. Share with us what people can find on there.
The website is mattalfonso.com. And the website was put together by Ashley Yanello. Her tag is at Gal with Anxiety, and she did a great job with it. So I want to give her a shout out as well, because I really enjoyed working with her on it. And you know, she did an excellent job. And the website is all about my both mindfulness coaching business and public speaking. And the website has about me. It has a content section with different blog articles and videos that I've done. And then it has about my coaching and public speaking. So the coaching is either the Mindful Living Coaching Program, which we've talked about, or just one-on-one coaching for either 1 session or 4 sessions. And then I also offer a few different public speaking options where I either speak to schools or athletic teams or also companies as well. So it's been, you know, starting a website, it's a lot of work. And I kind of knew that going in, and it definitely is. It's a lot of planning and organization, and definitely takes time, but it's, you know, it's a rewarding thing. I think anytime you put time and effort into something and then are able to see it manifest, it definitely means more to you.
Right, right. And tell us the website name again, please.
Sure. It's my name. So it's mattalfonso.com.
.com, yep. And I'm on it right now. I've obviously tinkered through it, especially as being one of your clients and you being a sponsor of the show. And it is a very easy to go through website. It's very clear. It's very straightforward. And Ashley did a really fantastic job. When we're done with the show, Matt will drop her name and contact in the comments so that if anybody wants a website built for them, they can contact her to help them. In the Mindful Living Coaching Program, which is the program that I just took part in with you, I would like to learn more about the process. Of course, I was a part of it, so maybe it's more of you expanding on the process. So first, let me just let everybody know this is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. I'm here with Matt Alfonso, the founder of the Mindful Living Coaching Program, where he helps you gain clarity, put your goals into perspective, and actually holds you accountable to help you accomplish these goals. And Matt, let's go through the 8 weeks, and we're not going to spend that much time on it all, so don't get scared, everyone. But let's just kind of like pop through week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just kind of just a little tidbit as to what each week has in it.
Yeah, week 1 starts off with, am I okay? I'm dark on the screen, but can you see me okay in terms of your light?
I can see you okay, yep.
Okay. Week 1 really starts off about gaining clarity. So it's about clarity in terms of your purpose and your vision. And we start with there because, you know, gaining clarity is really the
Internet froze. I'm not sure if it's Matt or if it's me. I look like I have full bars. Matt, our internet is frozen. If it's Matt, here I am talking to all of you, letting you know that I'm here with Matt Alfonso from the Mindful Living Coaching Program. Matt, you cut out. I don't know if it was your internet or mine. I turned off my Wi-Fi so that we can make sure we continue. You were just in the middle of talking about week 1 and gaining your clarity and putting things in perspective.
Yeah, so with that, it's really about the purpose and the vision. So with the purpose, it's about really finding out what you enjoy doing, what you are passionate about doing, and then also what you feel like you're best at, and then combining that with how you feel like you can serve. And it's really about going deeper with those questions. So really going to the why behind it and really the why behind that, and really just trying to find your motivation and where you want to take your own personal journey. That's week 1. Week 2 goes into mindfulness. So actually week 2 and week 3 both focus on mindfulness. And really what mindfulness is in terms about living present, and then really how to develop the mindfulness. We give 7 different ways to develop the mindfulness and look at each one of those specifically in terms of how you can do it. And then we also look at different mindfulness tools. You know, one of the tools that we've talked a lot about is the gap. And the gap is the space in between a certain trigger something that upsets you, and then how you respond to it. And being able to create that gap or that space to make really a responsible choice where you're responding to it in an appropriate way. So that's one of the mindfulness tools that we go into. We go into a couple other mindfulness tools with it. And also with one of the others as well is really being able to reframe your thoughts and reframe your beliefs, which is a major part of the program as well. And mindfulness is about having that awareness and allowing you to do it.
Describe what that means, reframing.
Yeah, so reframing means taking a thought, and it's usually a negative thought. You know, I'll use the example, you know, I don't do well in social situations. That could be a thought that pops up into your head. And then taking that thought and then reframing it into something positive. No, I'm actually comfortable in social situations. I do well in smaller group situations. I do well when I'm talking with a friend. You know, as long as I relax, then I'm okay doing it. It's basically just one statement and then being able to reframe that to have it work for you.
Right. And I'll add my personal take on that based off of our training together is in terms of reframing is it's also kind of changing things into a positive way, into a positive spin. So not speaking with negatives. And so what I found since our coaching program, since that week 2 and week 3 mindfulness and reframing exercises that we did, is that when I'm writing emails, when I'm writing in our gratitude practice, which we'll talk about a little bit later, when I'm writing certain things, instead of putting words like don't or can't or not, these words that are, I guess we'll put quotations around negative, because sometimes they're something that we need to use, but finding what's the positive alternative to it, just like you said, using the social situation of rather than saying, I'm not good in social situations, just saying, I'm better in one-on-one situations. So you can take from that statement right there, I'm better in one-on-one situations, and somebody from the outside can understand, okay, this person's probably not that great in huge social situations. But you don't have to say that negative statement. You could just say, I'm better in one-on-one situations. And when you start writing and start thinking in these positive ways about yourself and about your actions, I think your confidence goes up as well. And you start looking at things a lot more positive. And in fact, those negative words start just disappearing from your vocabulary. And that was a really great piece that I took, or practice that I took from week 2 and week 3 and have carried it on into a habit now. Please continue.
Yeah, thank you for that. You expanded on that really nicely. And I'm glad, the reframing helped so much. And, that ties into really week 4 as well, goes into self-love. And self-love is all how we feel about ourselves. So it's treating ourselves the same way that we would treat someone who we truly care about, who we truly love. And a lot of us are, myself included, if you're more perfectionist minded, you're harder on yourself than you are on other people. You never talk the same way you do to others that you do to yourself. And it's really about changing how you perceive yourself and then also giving some practical tools with it. With the mindfulness, we do different meditations with that. And then with the self-love, we do a specific type of meditation for that as well, which is one of the ways that we do develop our self-love, which is called loving kindness meditation.
Could you give us, we don't have to go through a whole meditation for time purposes, but just a little example of what that is. So when someone's doing a meditation, they're sitting quietly, but you walking them through a little bit of an exercise in there. Could you just give a couple of the prompts that you do in that so that people can understand what you mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. First, what I like to do in terms of guiding the meditation is really check in with the person and check in with their body. So I'll encourage them to move a little bit on their sit bone to feel a comfortable position. I'll encourage them to lengthen their spine so that they're sitting up nice and tall. I'll encourage a couple different hand placement options that they can do and what they can do with their shoulders and neck and face in order to help relax themselves. That's really the first thing I do, just to allow people to check in. The second thing is really connecting to the breath. And in just about all of the meditations, we do kind of a variety of different ones that have different purposes. But with each one of them, we connect with the breath initially to settle ourselves down, to help us connect to the present moment. And then really from there, it goes into that specific meditation for the day. So for instance, the loving kindness meditation is a different type. It's where you're generating love and compassion for yourself and then also for others. So you're actually using different phrases such as, may I be safe, may I be happy, may I live with ease. and then sending those to yourself, sending them to different people, to a friend, to a neutral person, to someone you're having trouble with, to all people. And I really guide the person through whatever the specific meditation is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that meditation. And again, a little bit of my input from what I took out of it was, and I kind of always, I knew this quote and I kind of live by this as well, but even more so with the self-love exercises is, would you be friends with the person that speaks in your mind? You know, would you be friends with that person? And a lot of times we speak so negatively to ourselves. And you can imagine if that was somebody that was a person speaking that way about yourself to you, would you be friends with that person? And probably not. So speak to yourself the way that you would want a friend to speak to you. And I really take that from the self-love exercises. It was really, really helpful.
That's a great quote. I think that there's so much truth in that quote. And the answer for me in the past was I definitely would not be friends with that person. Now I would be friends with that person after really doing
it. Yeah. And it's nice. You know, something else that you taught me in that exercise that I didn't do before is, I think it was, sometimes we're afraid to say we're good at something because we don't want to be perceived as conceited. And it's one thing to say, hey, I'm the best at this. And that might come across as conceited. But just giving yourself some acknowledgement of saying, hey, you know what, I'm really good at doing these interviews with the Shining Light Podcast Show. And being able to acknowledge the fact that there's room for growth and there's room to be able to get better at it, but also just acknowledge the present moment of, hey, I'm good at doing this and I enjoy doing it, and giving myself that, because that helps me move forward.
And a lot of that is also the case when someone gives you a compliment. If someone says, hey, Michael, you're great at doing these podcasts, the reaction from a lot of people is, oh, no, you know, I'm not that great at, you know, I'm okay. Rather than just saying, yeah, thank you, taking the compliment, right, saying thank you, and really accepting it.
Yeah.
So that's week 4, which is self-love. Week 5 and week 6 are our mindset and our habits, which are 2 critical things for making lasting change. And the mindset, we talk, gratitude is the number 1 thing that we talk about with the mindset. I think that's the most important thing in terms of the mindfulness practice, is having that gratitude mindset where you're appreciating what you do have right now in your life, rather than worrying about things that you may not have. And that shift is so massive in your entire life. So we implement a gratitude practice with that. Do a couple other things in terms of mindset as well, but you know, really gratitude is the key there. And then in week 6, it's about developing habits. And we've actually already been working to develop these habits already. And now it's just learning more tools to be able to make sure that these habits stick. Because, you know, as we talked about during, you know, after week 8, it's not just these 8 weeks that I want to see improvement and that you want to see improvement. It's the rest of your life. You know, this is an ongoing process. And what we work on really, I hope, continues to stay with you. And you actually mentioned checking in with people afterwards, which I think is a wonderful idea. So those are week 5 and 6, which are the mindset and the habits. Week 7 is physical activity, and that's about your physical health. So it's actually physical activity, nutrition, sleep, and stress management. And part of mindful living is taking care of your own body, which, you know, is everything is intertwined. Like how you're feeling mentally is intertwined with how you are taking care of your body, intertwined with how you're taking care of yourself spiritually, which really leads into week 8. Week 8 is all about putting everything together. So that's about living in alignment with the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Yeah. Let's take a pause before we go into week 8, because that really was kind of like the culmination of the entire weeks. This is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where we shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. I'm here with Matt Alfonso, the founder of the Mindful Living Coaching Program. You can go to mattalfonso.com to learn more about the program, or just message him right here on Instagram at mattalfonso1. Matt, let's go back to week 6 and 7, where we were talking about mindfulness and building habits. I want to go into the gratitude practice, because that's something that I have adopted into my everyday life and have found really, really great results from. And I even have a little bit of a case study, I guess we can call it, to share with everyone. I've been doing the Mindful Living Coaching Program. Obviously, we just wrapped up week 8, so it's been 8 weeks. And Matt and I started doing the gratitude practice probably within week 1 or 2. You started mentioning to me to start doing gratitude and all of that. And I started writing it down and doing it, and I noticed I was acknowledging positive things happening in my days. And here's where the case study part comes in. So this has been going on for several days, several weeks, where I'm doing the gratitude, and it's actually working really well and everything, and positive changes are happening. And then we have a huge storm hit and a power outage, and call it all hell breaks loose, right? And I skipped a day of my gratitude practice. So I was doing my gratitude practice every day. I'm writing down 3 things that I'm grateful for, and having a positive outlook on things. And then when I probably needed this practice the most, I didn't do it. And in our conversations, Matt and I, about this moment, was I noticed a big change was that I wasn't having the positive outlook that I had had leading up to this point. Now, I probably responded a lot better than I may have responded prior to taking the Mindful Living Coaching Program. But I did notice that by not doing my gratitude practice in the morning, it affected me. It affected my day, the day that we didn't have the power, and my patience with my children and everyone around me. So I would look at this case as a case study and say, you can really see how when you don't do something that is so beneficial to your life and to your day and to everyone around you, when you don't do it, it really, really impacts you. And I noticed, like, the following day, I immediately went right back to my habit of writing down what I'm grateful for, and started realizing, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this yesterday, and I feel so much better today. So I hope that I really gave everybody a good understanding as to how that practice actually helped me when times were good, and how I noticed that when times were bad and I didn't do it, how much I really needed it, especially the most. And so I just wanted to share that with everybody about that practice.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's always great to hear practical examples of how it actually helps you. And, you know, the thing with gratitude is it's simple and that it doesn't take much time to do, and it's extremely powerful. And having that combination, it makes so much sense to do gratitude. You know, gratitude, it takes 2-3 minutes a day at most, you know, either in the morning or at night, you know, writing down 3 or more things that you're grateful for. And it completely shifts your mindset, you know, as you said, you know, for that particular day.
And while we're on that, because you say this in the program, and I don't want to give away too much of the program, because if you want to learn more about the program, you should definitely DM Matt. He goes through it, he personalizes it to each individual, making sure that he's following what I need, what you need the most. And he has this program, of course, which is scheduled and has different parts to it, but it's all personalized to your needs. You're filling out a prep form so that he knows what to go over with you. I want to go back to your tips, and like I said, we're not going to give away too much, but this was something I thought was very helpful, was you gave some tips as to being able to do that practice, where you said it only takes 3 minutes. And I'll give you a little hint as to what I mean, is that I was making a whole big deal out of it. Like, I need this big Google Doc, and I got to go to my computer, and I got to write out a paragraph. And I'm going to leave it there for you to go ahead and share your little tips there, because I think they're simple.
Yeah, I recommend doing it in a gratitude journal, where you're doing the same place. You know, keep it right next to your bed, keep it on your desk, keep it somewhere where it's extremely accessible. And then what you're grateful for in that day, in that moment. You know, if it's in the morning, you know, whatever you're grateful for, it can be small things, it can be big things. It's whatever you are personally feeling, what you are personally experiencing. And those can repeat from day to day. They can change. You know, some mine will repeat on certain days, but oftentimes I'll do different ones, and I'll try to also be creative with it. But you can either do it in the morning, right to start your day, to put yourself in a great mindset to go through the day, or you can do it at night. And at night, you can talk about things that you're grateful for from that day as well, and also puts you in a good mindset before you go to sleep to really help your sleep. So I think either way, in terms of the morning or at night, it's just being consistent with it, having a journal to put it in, and then doing it each day.
Yeah, and I'll add to that journal is that the way I do it is I have my journal, I have it, and I leave it with a pen right on top, and then the pen's ready to go, so that there's no looking for a pen or turning the page. I leave it the night before. I have it ready to go in the morning for me, so that I just wake up, I just look down, I pick up my pen, and I just start writing, so that I don't forget to do it, and there's no distractions. And even with that, it is hard, so I don't want anybody to think that, oh, it's so easy. It's not. It is a challenge. It is a habit that you have to create. Today, I didn't write into my journal until 11 o'clock because I didn't do it right away. And so, it is a habit that we have to create. Let's go ahead and move forward into, we're going to skip back to where you were going into week 8. and the culmination of things.
Yeah, week 8 is all about alignment. So it's about living in alignment with the mind, the body, and the spirit. And really, when we're able to live in alignment, we feel a lot more grounded. We feel centered. We're able to live at a place of more inner peace. And really, to be able to do this, it's really just making sure that we're being intentional. I think that's the most important word when it comes to alignment, is being intentional. And intentional is about what you're putting your energy, your focus into. So being intentional about taking care of my mind by using a gratitude practice, by doing habits such as, reading or podcasts, being intentional about taking care of my physical health, by having a good sleep habits, by exercising, and then being intentional in terms of my spiritual health, in terms of having a meditation practice, having any other spiritual practice, which may be, praying for you or what you might believe in. But being intentional about focusing on those. And then I would say the last thing with that is making sure that you are checking in. Just because, you're in alignment today might not be the case in the future. So having check-ins with yourself to really making sure that you are living in alignment. And if you're not, then simply adjusting whatever it is that you need to adjust.
Yeah, and I want to just get some tips on these check-ins, because I thought that those were very beneficial to me. This is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. I'm here with Matt Alfonso, the founder of the Mindful Living Coaching Program. In this 8-week program, he's going to help you gain clarity, put things into perspective, write your goals down, and he's going to hold you accountable. And we should talk about that a little bit, Matt. Hold you accountable in a positive way to help you accomplish your goals. In this program, I took this program. I find it to have been a really great benefit to me on my career side, but especially on my family and personal side of things. Matt and I worked through a lot of things. Matt, we'll in the accountability conversation, we'll talk about my cell phone. But I want to just talk quickly about the spiritual part, because I don't want people to get confused as to what you mean by that. On the spiritual part, I think that it's a very important part to go within, and if you could just expand on the spiritual part of the practice.
Yeah, the spiritual part for me, it's about connecting with yourself on a deeper level, in terms of connecting with more of your true self. It's about connecting with others as well, and then it's about connecting with a higher power as well. And everybody believes in different things. And my job as a mindfulness coach is not to sell a certain religion or a certain belief. That's really up to you. And as you mentioned, one of the things you like to do is explore that a little bit further. And I think that's great. I think, if I can encourage you to think about that more and to explore, that's great. But spirituality, to me, it's all about connection. It's all about connecting with ourselves, connecting with others, connecting with this universe, and then having a practice. Whether it is meditation, I consider gratitude a spiritual practice as well. Praying is certainly a spiritual practice. And really just having something to making sure you have that connection.
Yeah, I really do. You're right. I really do like expanding on it and learning more about different spiritualities, different religions, different ideas. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer in any of them. I just like to learn more about all of them and hear all the stories, because there really are beautiful stories in all of it. And they all teach really, really great lessons. In any religion or spirituality, there's always great, great lessons to be learned there. We spoke about accountability, and before we wrap up, I would like to go into accountability so that people understand what that means and how you hold people accountable and why it's beneficial. So I'll give you the example of me, and why don't we just kind of like do a live little role play here of, hey, Matt, I tend to be on my phone more than I would like to be. And I can use the excuses of work and say that I'm working on it, that I need to do respond to an email for work or a text message because of the show, or respond to somebody on social media so that I'm present with them. But what I would like to do, Matt, is be more present with my family. And my wife's complaint to me is, hey, Michael, can you put your phone down? So Matt, could you share with us how you would hold me accountable to be able to start putting my phone down a little bit more and be more present with my family and the people I love?
The changes people make, they have to take ownership of. And it's oftentimes, getting them to think about that, getting them to think about the reasons, and even if possible, getting them to create the idea. Because, if you create the idea of putting your phone down, being more present with your family, you're more likely to do it. So it's a combination of helping you, making sure that you're taking ownership. It's not me saying, hey, Michael, make sure to put down your phone down when you're with your family. Because if I say that, chances are you're probably not going to do it. If you say it and you truly take ownership because you value your family, you really value spending time with your wife and your kids, and that's extremely important to you, then you're a lot more likely to do it. So, with that, I am able to help you get it on paper in terms of write it out, be specific with it, and then also, potentially give you some ideas in terms of how to implement it. We talked about specifically with your family using a camera rather than your cell phone to take pictures, because you enjoy taking pictures with your family and you want to have these memories. So this way you have the camera, but you don't have the cell phone. So I provide some ideas with it, and then help you in terms of formulating it.
That's right. Yeah. And the other thing that you did, and the reason why you were able to express that so well, was that you asked me why it was important to me. You didn't just start telling me your ideas. You first asked me and questioned me, Michael, why is it important to you to put your phone down with your family? And I expanded on that and told you why. And that's how you know why. And that's how you knew to recommend me bringing a camera, which, by the way, I didn't know how great having a camera is, because they take such better pictures than our phone. Even though our phones take good pictures, I've taken some really, really great pictures of my family. And then one other thing that you did was we were specific as to when I would put my phone down, with the understanding that, yes, I do need to do work on my phone. I do have social media that I have to manage on my phone, and what days and times would make sense for me to not have my phone with me. And by doing that and by holding me accountable to that, of, hey, Michael, we spoke about not having it on Saturdays. Did you have your phone on you on Saturday? And I was so proud to tell you, no, I left my phone at home on Saturday and I didn't have it with me all day. And so it was really just a check-in with each other, and I really enjoyed that. Before we wrap up, because it looks like we're at time now, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time, I want to let everybody know this is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. And I want to let you know that Matt Alfonso has just launched his website. It is the grand opening. Unfortunately, we can't cut a ribbon right now, but I swear when we're in person, Matt, I can't wait to cut a ribbon with you and have a glass of champagne to celebrate the grand opening to your website. It's a really great website. It has a lot to offer in it. And before we wrap up, we did talk about checking in. And I think that it's something that's very important. There's two ways that we could check ourselves during the day, which I'd like you to expand on. But also for you, we talked about you checking in with your past clients. So let's talk about those two things before we wrap. So quickly, Matt, what does checking in with yourself mean?
Mm-hmm. Checking in is, there's different ways that you can do it. Checking in you can do in terms of, we talked about the phone. One good way to use the phone, and I'm not, anti-phone, the phone has a lot of benefits, is to set alarms on the phone. You could set an alarm for, noon and 3 p.m., for instance. And on those two times, you're simply taking 1 minute, connect to the breath, and allow yourself just to get recentered. Really, when we connect to the breath, that's when we are in the present moment. That allows us to calm down. That will actually help with your productivity. If you simply do that tip, it will help with how much you get done at work. Other ways to check in are simply when you feel like just kind of going through your day, when you feel yourself getting a bit rushed, to do that. We talked about checking in terms of the journal as well, in terms of staying in alignment, and checking in through our journal in terms of how we're feeling is also another really good way to do it. Mm-hmm. The second part of that you mentioned with me in terms of checking in with my clients, which I thought was a wonderful idea, is following up with them. And I thought about it last night, and following up with them after we finish our 8-week program, following up with them a month after our last session, and then 3 months after our last session. So, and seeing how they're doing, and giving them advice or input, or just seeing how they're doing. How can I help you? I want people to be successful. That's what I want. I truly care about people, and I want people to be able to live a more fulfilling life, be able to live with more peace and be more centered, to have more self-love, to be able to connect with others on a higher level. And, I'm really grateful to you in terms of suggesting that, because I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, and I look forward to you checking in with me. I'm hoping that I keep up with all of the commitments that I've made with you. It was really a really great program. I took a lot from it, and one of the things that I really took from it that has just changed my life, changed my family life, is really the scheduling the time to put the phone down, to use my camera, and to be more present with my family. That was a big focus for me going into the program with you. You knew that. I said to you I wanted to be able to make the separation of work and family time, and we worked hard on it. It was hard work that we put into it, and you put a lot of time and a lot of work into it. And so I'm very thankful and grateful to you for helping me with that practice. And I look forward to you checking in with me, and I'll be so proud to tell you that I've continued that practice. This has been the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. My guest today has been Matt Alfonso, the founder of the Mindful Living Coaching Program, helping you gain clarity to accomplish your goals. Matt, before we wrap up, last message, anything you'd like to share with everybody, your final thoughts on it?
Yeah, thanks again for having me, Michael. You did a wonderful job during the program, and you're someone that I certainly look up to and admire, and have had so much going for you, and being able to help you in any way I could is it's a great feeling. If you are interested in doing the Mindful Living Coaching Program, I'm going to be starting it again this fall. So I'll be starting it in October, really the start of October, and it'll go October, November, and even potentially into the beginning of December. Please reach out to me. You can send me a DM on here. You can also go to my website, mattalfonso.com, and book a call with me. And really the best way to learn more is to send me a message and then to connect over a phone call, to do a free 30-minute discovery phone call where we get a chance to know each other and to see if it's a good fit.
Thank you for sharing that, Matt. And one final plug for you, because I think it's really important. I mean, right behind me, I have Tony Robbins tapes right there that you can see over my shoulder. I have the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These are all self-help books and everything. I just want to share with everybody what you just said there. I appreciate your complimenting me, but I couldn't do it without personal development, without digging in and really working on myself and and learning from people who spend their life trying to learn how to help others. So Stephen Covey and Tony Robbins and all these others, these really great people who work on this. Now, these are people that Matt studies himself, these people and many others. And so when you enter a program like Matt's, it's these books and these tapes are really great to listen to, and they help you with your self-development. They've helped me tremendously, but it's nothing like having somebody like Matt who's read and studied all of these types of things, these self-help things, and then he takes all of that knowledge and personalizes it to you. There's really, it's invaluable. It really is just amazing what you did. And I mean, I think everybody, I know everybody should do it, because what you just said, the compliments that you made to me, that I'm not that person without working on myself the way that I've worked on myself. So it's because of the tapes behind me. It's because of working with somebody like you that I am who I am today. And I of course, I have to give credit to my family, my parents, my siblings, my cousins, my aunts and uncles, and all of those people who formed me in those development stages. But I'm talking about personal self-development comes from working with somebody like you. So I really want to give a plug to the Mindful Living Coaching Program, because it was just tremendous and has really helped me in my life. So thank you again, Matt.
You're welcome.
This has been...
Thank you for saying that.
Thank you. This has been the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. My guest today has been Matt Alfonso. Please DM him at Matt Alfonso and the number 1. Please go visit his website, leave a review, check out his blog, check out his videos. He does these 1-minute videos that are really fantastic. I could go on and on about him, but I'm going to wrap up now. I want to thank you all so much for watching the show. I am doing the show live every Friday on my Instagram account, Michael Esposito Inc. And you can also watch the replay on Facebook, which is Michael Esposito Inc. as well. I also want to thank our show sponsors, HV Gold Rewards and Hudson Valley for Local Initiative, which is the largest Facebook group in the Hudson Valley. Ramon Pinheiro does a really great job on promoting local businesses and helping local businesses stay relevant during these times. So please go check out the Facebook group, go like some of the businesses on there, and get your HV Gold Rewards card. I also want to thank the Mindful Living Coaching Program. where Matt Alfonso helps you gain clarity. Message Matt Alfonso at Matt Alfonso and the number 1. Matt, thanks again so much for joining us on the show today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As always, everyone, stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll see you all next Friday. Bye, Matt.
Thanks, Michael. Bye, everyone.
Bye.